relationship status. The version of relationship status that you need to think about, the assessment version of relationship status was when people find out about domestic violence, the first thing out of their mouth is, well, is she going to stay with him or not? Anybody ever been part of a conversation like that? Where the primary focus has been on whether she's going to stay with him or not? Given what we're talking about, what's the flaw in that reasoning as a child safety assessment focus? To focus on whether she's going to stay with him or not as a proxy for whether the kids are going to be safe. What's the problem with that at this point? It should be clear. What's that? Focus on, say more though, because I want to really play this out. When we say, is she going to stay with him or not? But I want to move past for the moment the blaming, because the blaming the victim is actually a problem in terms of the actual assessment process.
It's not looking at his behavior or what he's doing in the situation.
You're assuming you know that she's safer.
Okay, keep going. Just, what's that? Keep going.
Sounds like the question should be, why is she making a decision to stay with him or not?
She doesn't have a choice.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going. Just go ahead.
We're not even talking about child safety. Like, child safety hasn't even been part of the question.
So why isn't it when we focus on is she going to stay with him or not, and we believe when we just let me make my presumptions clear. I think the people who say that, who are working in child serving systems, who are concerned for child safety, actually believe they're doing an assessment around child safety when they ask that question, which is a really interesting thing. Which is that the belief is, what we've been taught somehow is, that if we ask her, or we think about her decision to be in a relationship or not, we're actually assessing child safety, which is absolutely wrong on a lot of levels. So, go ahead.
The other thing is the perpetrator says, if you leave me, I'll take your kids, and then when they go to court, the court does just that and takes the children.
So what you're saying is, what we have to factor in is, what are the batter's tactics, whether she stays in the relationship or not, as they relate to her and the safety of the child. How do you assess safety by asking the question, is she going to stay with him or not, without focusing on the batter's behavior? Okay? We assume that she controls her decision, just to kind of bring out the point, built into that focus and that question, is she going to stay with him or not, asked in that tone, which is kind of like, when is she going to get it? When is she going to smarten up? When is she going to make the right decision? When is she going to make the right choice for her kids? When is she going to learn what domestic violence is? When is her judgment going to get better? Those are all implicit in that in different ways. When that's the statement we make, what we're doing is believing, wrongly, that she's in control of his violence to her and to the child. And we stop focusing on his tactics, his history, his access to the kids, which may be court ordered,